Welcome to the Random Hour. As always, I'm your host Kyle, and I'm joined with Devin. He found his way back here.
I sure did. I just showed up.
Um, you may have to correct me if I'm wrong. Today, our special guest is, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get this up. Charisma, the author of LnR.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Hey,
good.
everybody. Yeah, I got it right. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
We were worried about that.
It's just charisma. It's nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
People do misspell it, though, which is the funniest thing to me. It's happened so many times. Like, either it's double R and one S, or I don't know. For some reason, it turns into Carosimo for no reason.
Well,
I'm just
Yeah,
imagining them rolling the R.
maybe.
all right. Well, I'm gonna start us off with the first question. Since we are as a nerd sundries podcast, what are some things other than drawing and animation do you nerd out about?
Oh man, let's see. I have been nerding about, well, video games for sure, and cartoons that I don't know if 90s cartoons. Yeah, something like Courage the Cowardly Dog or like the Angry
So we're
Birds.
actually 90 babies, early 2000 kids, so we know about Courage.
Uh-huh. Like, Rugrats or Hey Arnold, those stuff.
Yep.
Definitely. I mean, I'm also from the 90s, so like I'm turning 30 in the next few weeks, actually.
Oh, okay.
We don't need to
Well,
talk about that. Somebody's
Yeah.
birthday's coming up soon as well.
Oh,
We're not that far behind you. My knees tell me every day.
oh,
Yep.
so does my back.
Oh yeah, that too.
There's a song set up here,
Is there?
unfortunately.
Oh no.
Oh man, yeah, I remember. See, it's funny. My wife to this day, she's like, when every time, so we have Amazon, we have HBO Max, and Cartoon Network's owned by Max, and every time I'm like, ooh, let's watch Courage, and she's like, no, it scares me. I'm like, you're an adult
It
now.
was
Uh-uh.
scary.
And
I
she's
wasn't
like,
even
It was
scared.
scary as a child.
Actually, I wasn't even afraid of it as a kid. I was just
I
like,
think
"Ooh, we're to the lab. That's fun."
I think the scary bits were when it was just macabre and you're like, okay, it's just a guy in a field. What?
Yeah, it probably spooked a lot of people as kids.
Yep.
oh god, it's not as then Ed and Eddie. I never
And
as a kid, I never understood the whole thing with jawbreakers. Even as an adult, I'm like, I don't get it. Why do they want a jawbreaker so bad?
yeah, like it's easy to get one of those, isn't it?
I think it was like one of those things where they always wanted it because they could never get it. And then
Oh,
they finally got it and they're like, now what?
I think that was the ending. I didn't even know the show
Yeah.
ended. I didn't know there was a finale.
Oh yeah. I remember, oh my gosh, I remember watching Cartoon Network and seeing that and being upset because I was like, dang it, they just ended Codename Kid Next Door. Now they're ending
Oh,
Ed, Ed and Eddie.
oh man, K and D was another one of my favorites. I'm still bummed they never
Hmm.
continued Galactic Kids Next Door.
Oh yeah, it was
They
really
made
good.
it.
I know the creator gathered people to, make a fuss out of that one, that project, the storyboard for Galactic Kids Next Door. And
Hmm.
sadly it still didn't, get enough traction for Cartoon Network to pick it up or something.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was my jam as a kid. That was one of my favorite shows, Codename Kids Next Door.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, that was
First
a
was
good one.
because of the dentist episode, something about them having rotten teeth.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that was in season one. Oh yeah,
Uh,
Oh, they
that
had a
was
bunch
another.
of weird villains. And then looking at back at it now, thinking about it, I'm like, those are some really well thought out villains for things that
very
kids would be scared of.
very clever.
Oh yeah. We know you're a bit of a Pokemon fan. So
Yes.
as as a Pokemon trainer, who would be in your lineup?
Oh man, my lineup. Well, for me, it's Blaziken,
Hmm.
Empoleon, Murgle. I would like to put Miltank on there. And let's see. Oh, Hypno for fun. And at
Okay.
least one flying type. So I think Noctowl just for kicks.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's-
Okay.
But I'm more of a psychic type user. So yeah.
ooh,
Okay.
Mhm.
see, my 6. Honestly, right now I'm playing Pokemon Sword and Shield for the first time for Nintendo Switch. But I
First
always
time.
tell, yeah. Well, I got my brothers gave me Scarlet and Violet when it came out, but that's a whole debate for another. That's a debate for another
Oh man,
day.
Scarlet, that's another story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've enjoyed some of it. It's just the frame rate, but that's a story for another day. I don't want to get on my Pokemon rant. But I'm a fan of the OGs, and I'm trying to watch all the series in order, and I'm actually almost done with the Sun and Moon, and I've really enjoyed the 3 starters for Sun and Moon. Those 3 starters, because I'm like, oh, those 3 would be in my lineup with, and I'm drawing a blank on their names, but it's the
Yeah,
Fire Cat,
Fire
yeah,
Cat.
the Fire
You
Cat,
know. Okay.
Cat. There's so
the
many.
Fire,
I only know the evolved form, the Incineroar.
oh,
Is it?
Incineroar. Yeah,
That's
it's
evil
Incineroar.
version. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
That
I'm
cat
on
is
like,
very the furry community.
it's what?
He's very popular in the furry community in Incineroar, apparently.
hmm
Oh
He
man.
is.
Oh
Wait,
no.
what? I didn't know that. Wait, what?
See, normally I'm the one that tells him things like this randomly, and he's like, "Hold on a
Oh,
minute, what?" Or if it's something like this, he normally tells me because I was like, "Oh yeah, I used to pick Vaporeon," and he's like, "Ha ha ha."
oh,
You know what
dude,
they
you
say
know.
about Vaporeon? And then
Yeah,
I'm like,
I've heard
"No,
of
I
that.
don't."
Well, trust me, we
Um,
have a friend. He's like, you like LeBunny? I was like, yeah, LeBunny is a pretty good balance type to have on your team. And I'm just like, "Ugh," and I'm just,
No.
yeah.
very sus Pokemon. No,
Yeah, I didn't
let's not get.
understand why, and now I know, and I can't unknow what I know.
Yeah,
I,
let's not even get to Gardevoir.
I don't get it. I was just like, oh yeah. And even we interviewed a Pokemon creator who's a Twitch
Oh,
streamer, and we
cool.
also went down that rabbit hole because he was like, how bad can I go here? And we were like, well, you can be as uncensored as you want, and I'm gonna just beep it out. And
Now
he was
hold on
like,
a
"Dude,
minute. We talked to this.
I'm a fan of the classics. Like I in Pokemon Legend of Arceus, I had to get Cyndaquil.
Ah, that's my favorite starter from that generation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Cyndaquil.
it was Cyndaquil. Totodile was my second favorite. I wish they would have put him that in the game because I'm like I like Totodile.
Yeah, Totodile was pretty solid. I normally went
Which
for water types.
I'm mostly fire types as my starters.
Well,
I
they
started
in
with
the new,
Squirtle, and it all went over with that.
well, I mean they make fire types well balanced. You can't go wrong with them, especially in the newer games.
Listen, I would just go to a field and grind, and then I would just like when I would get to the point where I would just like obliterate all the opponents, and I got
Yeah.
to a point where I would just had a level 100 Blastoise, and so I was just knocking. I just one hit KOing everybody. Sorry,
Even a
little
hundred is
girl. Sorry, little
even a,
girl. Your Pokemon battle's been cut short.
did you like battle and grind it all the way to 100? But what area were you in? Early parts of the game? How is it 100 already?
Yeah, I would get like really high up, and I'm like, okay, I can take on this gym now, and then I would like one
What?
hit KO, and I'm like, well, time to go to the next gym, and I would grind a little bit more. The more it got a little more difficult, and then I just got to the point where I was like, man, I need to change how I play Pokemon so it's a little more challenging.
Yeah, it's too boring now if you just easily win. You just
hmm
beat the leader, no problem. Bye, next to gym.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
it gets hard when you're trying to catch the legendary, and you can't attack it
Ah, shoot.
because you'll kill it.
Yeah, that's dumb. What about false swipe? That could make it easier.
It
To take
could.
off. As long as it doesn't kill itself, because
Hmm.
I've tried that once, and I think the legendary Pokemon ran out of moves, so it just
Hmm.
struggled, and yeah, you know what happens
Yep.
next. Especially if it's shiny, that would be worse.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, I can't tell you how many times I've come across a shiny and I'm like, I'm catching it. I'm
Yeah, you
catching this
started
shiny.
shiny hunting recently, didn't you, Devin?
I did for Legend of Arsonist since I beat the main game, and I've got some
Hmm.
post quests, and I've seen some shinies. Well, it's funny. So I bought Legend of Arsonist when it came out on opening day, and as soon as I got on the map, because I took a break from Pokemon because I kind of outgrew it. But my brother
Mhm.
bought me a Switch for Christmas, and I was like, okay, well, Legend of Arsonist is about to come out in January. I'm gonna go buy it. As soon as I get the game, I come across a yellow Shinx, and we're talking to our friend Tommy, who also bought it. I'm like, Tommy, I think there's something wrong with my game. The Shinx is yellow. Oh my god, it's a shiny shit. I was like, I've got
Uh,
so many shiny in that game. Legend of Arceus saved the franchise. That's
that's
my hill, and
true.
I'm dying on it.
Well, I did hear about Legends AZ is coming up next year.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm buying it. I'm ready.
Yeah, I
But
can't believe
what's
it's how for once they actually give some kind of love to Gen 6, do they?
Mhm.
which one was
I mean,
Gen 6?
isn't it X and Y? Am I correct here?
I don't know why it wasn't bad.
It's incomplete though. It's not
It
that
was
bad. It's just
just it was
unpolished
like
or
one of
something.
those filler episodes in an
Mm.
anime, and you're just
What?
like, oh, it was an experience, in my opinion. Like it wasn't. I think it was the last one I really played. Because I was like, okay, I beat the game. Okay, now
Yeah,
what?
I guess. Yeah, I think
Mm,
there were supposed to be extra stuff in there that we never really got because they just jumped into the next game, I think.
yeah, that I don't know if that started where they had like parallel Earths. Was it? Was that later on?
The what?
There, they started being where there was like parallel dimension and parallel
What?
Earths. Was that was like a big thing with like mega evolution early on?
Ah, oh, I only heard of
Um,
Mega, but parallel dimensions? Are you sure it's not Sun and Moon? Or no?
it could be Sun
What?
and Moon. I don't know if I'm right. I don't think I'm right.
Like there were some alternate realities in these
Yeah.
so-called wormholes, I
Hmm.
guess. And then you accidentally stumble upon a version of the town that you used to live in as destroyed or something. Uh, yeah, eaten by Guz.
Yeah.
Oh
The
yeah, that is Sun and Moon, yeah. Sun and Moon.
Yep.
Okay. I
It's
have
been a
no
minute.
idea. I played Pokemon from the original series up to Black and White 2010, and then took a break, and I'm diving back into it. So anything past Pokemon Black and White, I'm just like, I have no clue. And I coach and teach full time, so the kids are telling me about all these Pokemon from like 2011, like that little era, where I'm just like, I have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm
I
starting to
went.
forget Pokemon names, and I'm like, oh no, I'm
Oh
getting old.
man, I remember going to this birthday party, and I think a bunch of kids, iPad kids, were playing on their phone. I don't know, random mobile games, and I brought my 3DS out. I was playing
Hmm.
Alpha Sapphire at the time, and you know, for some reason, the kids slowly started paying attention to my 3DS,
Yep.
and I remember earlier on before that incident, they were actually watching Pokemon, the anime, in their room because I heard them. I don't know. I think I heard probably it was from X and Y. So when they watched me play, and when Charmander came up in my screen, they're like, "Who's that Pokemon? Don't make me feel old. Don't make me feel old, please." They don't know Charmander is, but they know the starters for Gen 6. And I'm like, "Oh, that's Chespin." I was like, "Okay, I know you kids don't know Gen 1."
Okay,
The
that's
class,
interesting.
That hurt me a little bit.
I know.
That hurt me a little bit.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was like, they only know Pikachu, obviously, but yes, you kids need to be taught.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh God, there's so many. Let's see. Let me see. What's a karaoke song? What was I thinking? Usually the songs that you actually belt out. Maybe Heart Attack by Demi Lovato. That's
Never
high.
heard,
I'm more of
never
a
heard that.
soprano. So yeah.
Are you trying to think of yours?
Honestly, yes, and I'm also trying to
It's
remember
the
Heart Attack.
DuckTales theme song. We've been over this.
No, maybe. In my top 5. Lord, I don't do. God, if I had to do one, it'd probably be anything country related, because I can turn anything country related, apparently.
Yeah, his accent comes through primarily when he sings. Um, he used to sing pop. We used to be like we would he'd go to Walmart and we would ride together because we were roommates. And so he would sing in the car, and any song he would sing would become a country music. It didn't matter the genre. It didn't matter if it was Eminem. Didn't matter.
So it's gonna sound country if it's rap.
Yeah.
Yes,
And I'm
yes,
like, I
yes.
don't know. This is like his superpower.
You have a sample?
Yeah, Devin, start
No,
singing.
listen. If my wife wasn't in bed at 2 in the morning, if I wasn't so close to my speaker, I'd be like, sure, I'll entertain everybody. Let me grab my cowboy hat. No. Go and listen to some of our older episodes, because sometimes I'll just be like, well, time to sing on show tune. Actually, there was an episode where I did do that. What episode
You
was it?
kept trying to make a theme song for the episode, and you're like, I'm gonna sing. And I'm like, please don't.
In the middle of 5 a.m.
Listen, Johnny Nickel, no.
Oh, yes, I am. I'm going to make a show tune out of this. And it's funny because I did that for an episode, and we interviewed a father and daughter D&D cosplayer group, and the guy goes, dude, I love that episode. Devin needs to sing the theme song more often. I was like, thank you. Somebody that appreciates art and talent.
I told them it wasn't in the budget.
It wasn't-
Oh, okay.
Kyle, what's your go-to country song? I mean, go-to karaoke song.
Country song.
I really like Lady Gaga.
Mm-hmm.
Um, maybe
Which song?
Poker Face.
Poker Face.
Yeah. Yeah, it would probably have to be something with Lady Gaga because I know I'd be comfortable with that.
First thing that came to my mind is Telephone.
Telephone's a good answer. Okay.
Oh, man.
So, as an animator and an artist, what is your favorite color?
Oh man, my favorite color. I have a lot of favorite colors, but my main favorite is violet. It keeps changing
Mhm,
over time. I remember it was pink, and then the next thing I know, it changed to yellow, and then
mhm.
blue, and then black. But right now, it's violet.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
it's normal for it to change, though. I mean, as you grow and change, I imagine it would change too.
Mhm. Like it doesn't just. It's not just one color.
Or
Unless I said rainbow, but that's cheating.
Yeah.
it depends on which month.
Uh,
Okay.
What are some things that you have inspired your art style?
oh man, one of the many artists that inspired my art style. Have you ever heard of the Witch comics?
Which I want to say,
It sounds
yeah.
familiar.
I'm about to
Hmm.
look. I want to say
Just
yes.
like there's like 5 witches. The witch, the name witch itself is just the acronyms of the character's
Yes.
name. Yeah.
I think I
No.
remember this. Looks familiar. Yeah, I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
this.
Yes, I
Hannah's
remember
watched
this.
this a couple times.
I think it was animated a couple of times before. I think it's the
Hmm.
same creator for Monster Allergy.
What was it?
Okay.
It looks like Wings.
Yeah, it looks like Winx, but it's not Winx. I remember this.
They keep mixing it.
Yeah, because a lot of people. So over here, and when we were growing up in the States, people were calling it a Wix like wannabe.
Oh,
They were calling it a Wix clone. Okay, yeah, I remember this.
yeah. I grew up with these as a kid. I've had my friend bring witch comics to our classroom. I was like, "Ooh, what is it? What is this?" And then I really love the art style along with it. So I was like,
Mhm.
And the Archie comics. That's another one of my inspirations for my art style.
I love Archie comics.
I'm about to say, yeah, can I take y'all can have a 20-minute Archie conversation because I'm not the biggest Archie fan.
What are you doing with your arm?
It was the pen.
Yeah, but you're cycling like yes.
Oh man, it reminds me.
Is there somebody? Is Archie in the room with you now?
God, I hope not. I got questions.
Tell him to get back to Riverdale.
Nigga, God, that awful show. Have you ever watched the Riverdale show?
I've heard of it. I've heard my friends say it's not really the best. I haven't seen it, so I'll take their word for it, I guess.
It's a time. And there was one point when we were in the dorms, me and my friends some of our friends would gather around, and we would watch it, and we were like, "Well, we're this far into the show. It's getting worse, but we've made it this far, so we're gonna keep going."
I
So,
just wanted to see it end.
Hmm.
I mean, you
We made
start
it
off
that
with
far in the journey, so we had to keep going.
you have
Yeah,
the first episode, Archie sleeping with his teacher, and Jughead joins the local gang. I'm like, wow, this took 0 to 60 real fast. I thought they were going down to the malt shop eating ice cream.
that's what happened in Riverdale.
Hmm.
The
Uh,
first episode.
Yeah. At some point, Jughead becomes the leader of a gang. Um, does some smuggling of drugs. Um, there's a whole thing where he has to clear. They got to figure out who killed this one of the Blossom twins. There's a bunch of stuff. Um, at some point, Archie fights a bear.
that's so random out of context. What the heck?
Archie goes into the witness tech protection program. Not really. He goes off into the wilderness, which is where he ends up fighting the bear and almost dying. Um, I forget his name.
That was a
But
killer
Archie's dad
episode.
passes away in real life, so they hold like a huge thing for him. Um, which was on the tail end of him running for mayor. Um, there's a whole
Those
thing
sound
where Betty's dad becomes a serial killer. It's a time.
Oh God. Were they high when they actually did this script for this show?
I don't know, but being a serial killer is genetic according to the show.
Okay.
Well, the network that's based on it was produced by a television network called the CW, and they were known for dark and gritty shows.
They are
Like,
not. They are not known for
well,
that.
close to it.
This
Something
was a
similar.
Riverdale turn where like we're gonna make it dark and gritty.
I thought the CW had something to do with it.
Oh, there was also a space cult, and I forgot where I fell off on, but it's where Archie becomes like a boxer, and there's like witchcraft and because they play Dungeons and Dragons.
So many
Uh,
random references. I've already lost track of what the hell are they doing.
yeah, a lot of it was very different than the comics.
Yeah, it's far off.
I mean, just a little bit though. But other than that, just it's just the bear mainly.
Hmm. At first, I didn't even know it was the Archie comics until someone told me, "Oh, oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah." I didn't
Uh,
even realize.
I'm gonna say his name, but one of my favorite Jughead runs was by Chip Zdarsky.
Zdarsky.
Darsky.
Yeah, He
What do
did
you say?
the new one of the newer Jughead runs, which I was kind of
What's everybody's drink of choice here in the room? Non-alcoholic or alcoholic? Either one.
Like in the room right now, or just in general?
Just in
What does
general.
Archie drink, Devin?
I don't know. Let's see. In the Riverdale version, he probably drinks hard whiskey.
I don't remember. It was in the show where he drinks.
It's probably whatever sponsorship deal the show had. Probably Jim Beam whiskey.
Okay, I'm gonna derail this. There was a sponsor. So these kids are in high school. What's an obvious sponsorship that they could slip in while they're at school?
Bud Light.
Okay. What's your guess?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. You know, first thing that came to mind actually will always just be Coke for some reason. I don't know, because kids here really love Coke.
It was Bumble, a dating website.
Say what?
Which you have. Yes, it
No
was Bumble, a dating website, which you have to be over 18 to use. But these are supposed to be 16 to 17-year-olds, so they would be underage.
They're not even legal to use it yet.
I know.
Why advertise it to kids? To be, to let them know early.
Yep.
Ugh,
So
jeez.
it was
Far
a
off from
choice.
okay, yeah. Someone made that decision.
Hmm.
Oh
To be
man.
fair,
But
Archie
yeah.
did sleep with a music teacher.
Oh, it was his
Uh,
teacher?
Arch-
Oh, it was his English teacher.
It was a music teacher. Because there's a whole thing where he wants to play guitar and be a musician.
Oh,
And
he
then
didn't want
that
to work.
lasts for like a season. And then every season he has a different motivation.
oh, that's some way to get grades up.
Well, there's a whole plot where he misses school because he's in the witness protection program from the mob.
Oh
Um,
no.
and so he has to go like remedial school, and then there's a whole thing with Jughead where he's in the special school with like this Ghost Rider cult, and he's got to
Wait,
survive being murdered.
wait a minute. There's a Ghost Rider cult now, and then there's a space cult. How many cults are there in this show?
About 3, just off the top of my head. So
Ugh,
the Gargoyle one, there is the space one, and then there's the Poet Society, which is a group. Maybe it's not a cult. Maybe it's a club. Yeah, there's a club where it was Ghost Riders, and you don't get any credit for it. And
uh,
you may end up dead randomly. And there's a string of murders with the club at this preppy private school. So
man, what are these riders smoking? I want to I want to have one of.
yeah.
Oh man.
Jughead's mom also sells Jingle Jangle.
What's Jingle Jangle?
The drug with pixie sticks.
It's a name
But
of a.
in the show, it's just pixie sticks because they don't show any drugs.
Ah, well, that's one way to censor.
Hmm.
I
But
remember in Hey Arnold all of a sudden when they talk about uh Helga's mom uh
Hmm.
about her wanting a smoothie. At first I was like, why does smoothie make you so sleepy? What do you put in your smoothie? I realized,
oh, I know exactly what episode you're talking about. Yeah.
Some adult juice.
yeah, apparently I didn't even know that until I got older. I was like, oh, nice censorship. Very
Mhm.
clever. Okay.
Uh, hey Arnold was a good one about censoring stuff, and you're like, as an adult, you're like, oh,
No, a lot of
other.
the older cartoons were like that because you're like, you wouldn't catch it as a kid, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, they don't do that kind of uh way of writing anymore these days, as I've noticed.
One God, anybody remember Rocco's Modern Life?
Yes,
Mhm.
I definitely do. Oh no. The first scene that came to mind is this hotline job that Rocco was he had a job where he was calling people and then there's a signboard on the side something about be sexy or whatever. I was like,
Mhm.
Yep, that's what's in my mind. I was like, I remember in Rocco's Modern Life with the hotline, and I'm just like, yep. As the adult, I'm like, yeah, see,
Ye-
I'm like, and then I started thinking back, I was like, Cow and Chicken had some weird ones with the
Yep,
devil.
I was
I was
about to
like,
say Cow and Chicken. Cow and Chicken, I
ah,
yeah,
remember so many weird stuff, and I'm like, this.
definitely.
I remember being a kid and being like, this was approved for me.
Suppose. Yeah, I didn't even realize until I got older. Especially, I think there was a banned episode where the red guy is actually the devil, you know? You've
Hmm.
seen him
oh,
actually in hell. Yeah. I was like, oh, I've never seen this episode, but okay.
Yep.
yeah, Rocco was pretty bad about censoring stuff. Yeah, that was the worst one I remember. I was watching it, which is weird. Another show that I remember from that era, but I've never really watched. I've only watched the movie. Is the Doug
Oh,
show.
Oh, I
I
love
really,
Doug.
yeah, I only, because Doug doesn't show up in, I mean, I do see it, like, on the
Mhm.
internet, but for some reason, airings of Doug was never here. I was confused. Like I see it in the commercial, but it's never anytime I watched TV as a kid, so I never got to watch a single episode. It's weird.
Oh yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was on Disney for a while.
I think it did that weird thing where it started off at Nick and then ended in Disney. Only reason I remember about Doug is because I used to have the Doug movie on VHS, and
I
these
used to
kids do
have
not.
Doug toys.
These
Oh
kids
yeah.
definitely don't work at VHS.
Yeah,
That's
because there
always.
was like a whole promotional thing for the movie with Happy Meals.
I knew it. It was thinking McDonald's.
Hmm.
Oh man, dude, I can't tell you how many Happy Meals like Doug Happy Meals. It's just a golly. Happy Meals could be its own episode of toys throughout the years.
Oh
That
yeah,
can be.
most of my toys growing up were Happy Meal toys.
So do I, but I think my mom gave them away to my nephews. But yeah, that was
Trying to think.
mostly what I have as a collection. I think my last collection were Mario Happy Meals. So yeah, I was like, this is the last good Happy Meal they had so far.
I remember we used to have to go. My grandmother, one of my grandmothers, used to collect dolls, and so when they had the little like miniature dolls in the
Ooh.
Happy Meals, we would have to all go to multiple places and get dolls from the Happy Meals. And we'd be like, "This is our sixth store, our sixth McDonald's. Can we go home?" No, we gotta get. We're too short, and we're like, "Okay, I guess."
Huh. You ever had those Happy Meals that connect to each other? Like I think
Hmm.
I had a Treasure Planet Happy Meal where I had to buy like the body parts of the robot. I was like, it's a
Yep.
huge. Yeah, I remember collecting all of those. I was like really happy when it came up, but it couldn't stand properly. Well, I had to like maybe
Return to
something.
Neverland had one where it was like giant boat, and you had to connect all of them.
Yeah.
I remember that. There's
The Power Rangers, like a whole bunch of
the
the Power Rangers.
Simpsons movie.
Oh yeah, the Simpsons movie.
They had the couch that connected.
Oh, that's nice.
Ice Age had a couple that connected because it was, I don't remember which movie it was, but they had for one of their movies they had like little ice that you had to connect.
Oh, that's
Um,
nice.
mhm.
I think I also had a Lilo and Stitch one. So they connect islands to each other. Actually,
Yes. Which one was it? Because I know the first one when they were trying to promote the TV show, they had the little coins with Play-Doh, and they're
mhm.
all like little Play-Doh toys.
Yeah.
That
I
was for
miss
the
when Happy
TV
Meals
show.
were cool.
Hmm.
I miss Happy Meals that were innovative and creative like that. These days, it's
Oh yeah.
just you know, buying a bunch of
Hmm.
paper cards. Like, where are the toys?
Yep.
I mean, the I actually so the only reason I know this is because right now when I'm coaching, McDonald's will give us a couple burgers to feed the kids. So right now they have a weird crossover with Yu-Gi-Oh and Hello Kitty.
Yeah,
So like,
those kinds.
so I was like, oh cool. Hello Kitty is a blue eyes white dragon. I'm here for this.
I can
Cool.
imagine eyes just changing to blue.
Uh-oh, Hello Kitty sent me to the Shadow Realm. So in your webcomic, there's a lot of Pride Flag Easter eggs in outfits. What are
Mhm.
some Pride Flag themed outfits that you would like to incorporate? And any subtle character out I can speak, I promise. We've done this so far. I can keep going. Any subtle character outfit references from like video games or anything?
Ooh. Some of them are video game references. Well,
Mhm.
there's so many episodes so far. I actually lost track of which ones. Like 100+ episodes now. I know that there are outfits that they're wearing that have
Mhm.
references to either from a cartoon
Mhm.
or from a video game, or just straight up a reference to them playing that particular video game. And
Okay.
about the fried flag, did I say fried? I said, I
You were
just
thinking
said
of
fried.
Happy Meals, but it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're about Happy Meals right now.
yeah, fried rice. Pride flags.
Mhm.
Well, when you asked what I want to incorporate, well, most of them are mostly just implied for now. I would
Mhm.
say I don't really want to. Well, I could confirm them just in comment sections, just because people can get very rowdy when it comes to this topic.
Mhm.
I've seen it. I've seen plenty of people arguing in the comments about this particular subject, so I don't really talk about it very much because there's like this divide between people who believe it versus those who don't like labels and whatnot. So I keep it vague for the most part and
Mhm.
let the readers figure it out because I've already given them enough evidences to what LnR are
Yeah.
because you know my experience with writing them, figuring out their character, I'd say I will not let them talk about what they are or what labels they have, especially L, because I have an episode of him talking about how he feels
Mhm.
like he's in a box when he's labeled. So I made him the kind who doesn't like labels, and R is the one who has labels but doesn't like shove it in people's faces. So what I do, I will tell people in the comments, but I don't exactly mean to let them say, "Hey, I'm this or that" in the comic itself or in the script. Let the
Mhm.
fans figure it out because I've had this experience where I've seen other people be very, yeah, I don't know, maybe they feel cringe over the whole "Hi, I'm gay" or something like that. I don't know. There were instances where they would fight over that alone, or they
Mhm.
will like shove them in a box because you said it that you're gay or something. Or
Yeah.
in LnR's case, uh, the word demisexual. This one TikTok I have of that term being used. Oh man, it actually went through a lot of weird hurdles in the comment section that TikTok activated the anti-bullying protection mode on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, what happened? Everybody was arguing about what demisexual meant, even if other
Yep.
people are already defending that term in the comments. And I guess because that anti-bullying mode activated, I realized maybe okay, maybe maybe not use it very much, but I would love to
Mhm.
represent it. Just
Yeah.
yeah, that's what happens. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some of them be like, "Oh, I think this TikTok reached the wrong audience or something," or like that. It's really comical to see people be like, "Oh, I got representation. Oh, that's so me, relatable." And it's like very nice to hear from those who
Mhm.
feel like, they haven't been heard before. Feeling seen by your work is actually a good feeling.
Sorry. Next question is, what are some other animation projects that you've worked on? Anything we may know of? Which you've already
Well,
said something off screen.
oh yeah, besides DuckTales 2017, I've actually just collaborated with a few of my friends. I think it was just a short film for this local event we have here. It's called the Animation, and it's like a tiny animation convention we have where it represents, local animators and their works. Yeah, I just helped out with the short film for that, but that was like years ago, though. I don't know if I have it here on YouTube. It should be here. But yeah, I actually don't remember the title anymore, but I do have the work in progress stuff on my drive. Let me see if it's still here. I need to check because the title should be here. Let me see. Oh wait, this is just the production number. Yeah, it's been like 2017. Yeah, it's 2017. But other than that, you guys ever heard of the show The 7D on Disney Channel before?
I don't believe so. Is it the 7D?
Yeah, it's a parody of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, except Snow White's not there.
7D. And it was on Disney Channel?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not go to the right thing.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen this.
Yeah. I once did cleanup and in-betweening for that show. Well, this was when I was starting out as an animator. Well, started working in an animation studio. Because before I became an animator, I was a cleanup artist first, and then I jumped into animation for DuckTales 2017. So that and the rest of the other animation projects I had were mostly personal. I think the only main project I have so far is LnR. But if anyone wants, to ask for any animation assistance, I'm open. Yeah. Yeah, the 7D wasn't that popular.
I remember seeing a trailer, and then I think that was it.
Yeah. It's such
Like
a weird.
it's one of those things where looking at it now, I'm like, oh, I remember seeing this, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't
I
even watch.
had to look at it. Oh yeah, I do remember seeing this on TV. I've never watched it.
Yeah, neither did I. And for somebody who, worked on it, or at least as a cleanup and in between, it's just a little sad that I wasn't able to animate for Star versus the Forces of Evil because we also worked on that show.
Oh,
I love
oh
that
yeah,
show.
yeah, we know. Yeah, I must say
Yeah.
Kyle loved that one. When that one came out, he was always watching in the dorms.
Me
Well,
and this big black guy, one of our friends who was on the wrestling team, me and him would sit down and watch it together.
nice. It's
I
too
know it's
bad.
fun. My Disney Plus makes me want to watch it. It's like, hey, for your recommendations, watch this, and I'm like, okay.
Well, they're convinced.
Oh man, I'm sorry, I cut you off. What were you trying to say? I had cut you off.
Over.
Oh, I said
Is
I
it?
had cut you off. Sorry.
Oh yeah. What did I say? I think I think my mind jumped. I don't actually remember.
You'll remember it later and be like, oh yeah, that was it. Let me email them.
Oh no.
Sorry, it was Star versus the evil forces. I'm butchering the name.
Star versus the Forces of Evil? Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
long title.
It
Oh yeah.
was.
No, I was just able to watch my friends animate it. I wasn't able
Mhm.
to be part of that production, so it was just like, oh man, I wanted to work on that show, but I think they were wrapping up season 1 at the time
Mhm.
when I
Mhm.
came in. So yeah, I was like,
Okay.
too bad. There is another show where one of the voice actors for Starverse, no, not Starverse, the 7D. One of the characters there is
Mhm.
in a popular show these days. You guys heard of Amphibia?
Yes, I love Amphibia as well.
Yeah,
That's the one with the frogs, right?
Yes.
yeah. Because the
Oh.
animation studio I worked with before actually was supposed to animate for that, or they were like, what they do is that they have a show pitched, and then they give it out to they distribute it to different animation studios, see which one will have like the better rates to work with. Disney
Mhm.
will pick which
Hmm.
studio they will, um, you know, have this group of people animated for. And the studio I was in, one of the studios they were working at, they were, talking to was the one I was working at. And yeah, we had like animation tests for Amphibia when back it was still called Amphibialand.
Mhm.
Well, at least this is like information that's out already, so that's fine. So yeah, I actually watched the test animation. It's like, oh man, it's so smooth, but I don't know what studio animates it when it came
Okay.
out. So yeah, that's fine. That's just another trivia. The inner makings of the animation studios here.
Well, we love trivia here. Where can the listeners at home find you and your content?
Ah, well, besides TikTok, y'all can find me on Instagram and well, I did say YouTube and also Facebook.
Mhm.
And let's see. Well, besides webtoons, there's also Tapas. If y'all heard of the Tapas website, it's also a comic site.
Mhm.
I also post there. So I think that's all of where I am so
Do you
far.
have Tumblr and DeviantArt?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not active in those anymore, actually.
Okay.
I used to be more active on Tumblr, but not
Mhm.
much actually. Not really.
Okay.
DeviantArt.
What ab
Uh, It's also all of them is Karosmo actually. Luckily, no
Mhm.
one has the username, so whenever you search me, it's easy.
Okay. Yeah, it was fairly easy because I was like, "Okay, we gotta get all the links for the description and all that so we can link your stuff." And then I did that, and I was like, typically when we ask this question, we're going through and I'm verifying. I was like, "Okay, we got these right."
Yeah, especially since I think for a lot of people with different usernames for their
Mhm.
different platforms, yeah, I totally get it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I know that definitely helps people who listen. They can find you a lot easier. I didn't know about Tapos. I hope I'm saying that right.
Perhaps
Wait,
it's I think
until yeah,
yeah,
because I know
until
Webtoons is big, and that's where uh my girlfriend and I read a lot of like comics or web comics. And so like when I was like researching you and like making sure I had all these descriptions, I was like, oh man, there's like a whole thing here. And that was neat.
oh, cool. Yeah, Tapas is actually where I first posted LnR.
Mhm.
Like the very first post ever is on Tapas. Back when it was still
Okay.
Tapastic. It had a different name, and I don't know because of legal reasons they changed it. But now it's harder to find since it's the same name of a food.
Yeah.
Like when you search tapas, you need to put tapas comics, or else it will just find food instead. Like, you're just gonna make me hungry instead of looking for comics. Yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps up the episode. This is where you guys can find us at home. Hey, if you enjoyed what you heard tonight, you can come check me out on my podcast, the More Sports Podcast, where it's not your typical sports podcast. And of course, we have Popcorn Buckets, where we review a movie every Sunday. And of course, you can check out our YouTube channel, Random Incorporated, where you'll see the video version of this episode as well as our other guests that come on the show as well. We've mentioned them a few times as well. And you can follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter at Rando Corporate One and on Instagram as Rando Boys. Prisma, do you have anything you'd like to say before we close out?
I think I'm good. Well, I mean, just saying hi to everybody. I don't really know how to close podcasts, to be honest with you.
If it helps, how we normally do, we just end it with a random word or phrase.
Oh, what?
It doesn't have to be anything logical, I promise you.
Yeah, I was thinking of something else because I just keep remembering outros from YouTubers, like something like "Stay Toasty" or something like that.
Oh, yeah, toast can stay toasty, my friends.
Oh, and it just rained here.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I think we can close there, Devin.
All right, until next time.